So I thought I was going to do this video maybe like a week ago, but in reality, it being almost the middle of April, I think this is perfect. So we are finally going to do my version of the Banlist Predictions, and I actually wanted to start to do something different. I noticed a lot of channels have their own take on this. There's usually a lot of predictions. MCole40 does, you know, all the people's like ban lists that they produce in Zodiac. Simo does his amazing ban list roulette. And you know, Doug and all the channels, they do a lot of different like ban lists, predictions, discussion, stuff like that. The thing I wanted to do here, just to make it a little different, is I want to do what is going to be known as, this will be the first episode, and hopefully it will be a continuing segment. So if you guys enjoy it, you guys know what to do. Give it a thumbs up and give me your feedback. This is going to be ban lists, expectations versus reality. Now what I mean by that is that I'm going to produce a lot and talk about a lot of the lists that you guys have given me, a lot of personal things I think about when I think about the ban list. I'm going to talk about what we expect to happen as players versus what might actually happen as players. So shout out to Konami first and foremost, because they did communicate with us about about when the ban list will come, and hopefully the ban list won't drop while this video is being uploaded and whatnot. It'll probably drop maybe a day or two after, and hopefully, you know, a lot of this stuff gets answered. So when it comes to the ban cards, there's not that many. We've heard a lot of different things, so I'm going to talk about what people have wanted to be banned. A lot of you have talked about banning the rank up magic spell, you know, the quick launch. Now, the expectation is that this is going to be banned, and the reality of the matter is I actually think this will happen. I think this will happen. I think the rank up spell is the best card to hit. I think some players have been mentioning cards like Azathoth. They've been mentioning Rusty Bardiche. And the problem with that is if you hit either Rusty Bardiche or the Azathoth, here's the problem with that. You hit Azathoth, the rank up spell is still searchable. There are other targets besides Azathoth that you can make with the rank up card. There's cards like King Kali Yuga, there's other cards like that that players can make. So banning the Rusty Bardiche doesn't do anything. Banning the Azathoth doesn't do anything. You have to ban it. You have to ban the rank up. The reason why is because even if you hit Rusty Bardiche, you can still search the rank up with one of the Phantom Knights. So definitely not a good idea. So expectation versus reality. If anyone expects that they're going to ban Rusty Bardiche or Azathoth, that's not going to happen. They're going to ban the rank up spell. I'm like 98% sure they're going to ban that card, because that card has just created so many degenerate things. The other thing about this, the difference with this card versus banning Azathoth is that, okay, you can Azathoth on your turn, your opponent can't really use hand traps or respond to anything. However, if they see any of that stuff starting to happen, they can use their hand traps preemptively before that, and, you know, Azathoth will come down, and then you'll have already done damage with your hand traps and probably slowed your opponent down. Now, when it comes to the rank up, they do it on your turn, and guess what? You can't play Yu-Gi-Oh when they do that, so definitely they have to hit the rank up spell. So that's addressing any deck that abuses Azathoth. Now, I'm going to go into Sky Strikers right now for any ban cards, and I'm going to say there are going to be 0 ban cards. That's right. I don't think any cards in Sky Striker are getting banned. We'll talk about Sky Strikers when we get to the limited and semi-limited section. We're going to talk about Thunder Dragons. I don't think any of the main Thunder Dragon cards are going to get banned. People are crazy. They expect Colossus to get banned. No, just no. That expectation, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. The reason why it's not going to happen is because that's like ridiculous. If you kill Colossus, you basically kill the whole point of the deck. You guys should know this. Now you guys know I'm a little biased. I love Thunder Dragons, but I'll be honest with you. All the deck really wants to do is make Colossus. The original version, the pure version, wanted to make Colossus. Now it's escalated to a point where I can understand people want to hit Thunder Dragons. But the Thunder Dragon cards are the worst cards in the deck. You guys should know this. The Dragon cards are the cards that need to get hit. So, going through a lot of your guys' lists, shout out to you guys. You gave some really good ideas. Now, people are expecting Colossus or Goliath to get hit. Wrong. That's not a good expectation. The reason is because they are not the problem. But Goliath is produced from the problem. So what card do you hit? You hit Dark Matter. That's the reality. Dark Matter has been a problem in the OCG because of the Gandora FTK, and I feel it's going to be a problem here as long as people are abusing the ability to summon it and then send your Archbrave, your Goliath, and another dragon to continue your combo, usually Eclipse Wyvern or Destrudo, depending on what version you play, or Diabolos. Now here's the thing, with Dark Matter, the card, it's like literally a cost. Like, you just summon it, it's not a cost, you just summon it, and it's just like, okay, cool, boom. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, you can Valor it, and it won't do anything. like, you'll still send your card. You will still get your Goliath at the end phase, and at your opponent's standby phase. It's insane. I feel this card needs to get hit. I feel that it's really abusable, and I feel like it's just going to get better and better now that we have the Heretic link. I feel like the card is just going to get better and better. So right now, I feel the expectation of people thinking Colossus, people thinking that Goliath, or people thinking, you know, cards like Red MD, all those are going to get hit. I don't think that's going to happen. For a minute, I thought about Red MD, but you know what? Not really. The only deck that's really abusing that is Guard Dragon Crusadia, and I mean, they're not performing as well as we all thought. They were really hyped, and they're just not performing as well. So that's the expectation versus reality on that. Another thing I'll say I'm going to throw into that mix is that I feel there will be other cards hit, but again, we'll move to that when we get to the limited section. So other cards people wanted banned. The last card, now this is an interesting one. People are saying they want to ban Scythe. Now, you know, I thought about this one, and you know, I understand why. Scythe is actually not that healthy for the game. It produces a game state where your opponent cannot access their extra deck, hence cutting off a game mechanic. However, I think Scythe is not the card you really want to hit. I think the card that you actually might want to hit is Sanctum. Now, I'm really on the fence about this. This was a subscriber suggested one, so shout outs to you. The expectation versus the reality on will they hit Scythe and will they hit Sanctum, I really don't actually know, because here's the thing. If you hit Scythe, yes, you deal with Scythe, and then you can still use Sanctum for your other artifacts, which is something I like. If you hit Sanctum, the problem with that is then you're forced to just play the artifacts and set them in the back row and hope your opponent pops them. That's why I'm really on the fence about this. And to be honest, this is the only part of the video where I'm kind of at a loss. I feel like hitting Scythe is the correct card, even though people think Sanctum is the correct card, because if you hit Sanctum, it kills like the whole artifact engine in a sense. It really does. The point of playing Moral Tech, the point of playing, you know, any of them outside of Lancia in your hand is not going to really do anything. So I feel like hitting Scythe does deal with the direct problem, and I noticed that a lot of builds of like Solomon Greats do try to play the artifact engine, so if you do hit Scythe, it does take that away from them, and it does cut off that really kind of unfair, you can't play, it's like a D-barrier in a monster form version. So those are my ban cards. Basically, it would be the rank up, it would be Dark Matter, and it would be Scythe. So those are the three cards that I feel would get banned. When it comes to the limited section, there's a lot of different cards we could go, a lot of different ways we could go. I feel like when we talk about Solomon Great, the first thing about Solomon Great, 0 cards are getting hit in that deck. I'm just going to say it. 0 cards are getting hit in that deck. There's no point. There's no point whatsoever. The deck is so new, it's going to get the Monarch treatment, it's going to survive through Nationals, and then it's going to get touched. That's it. I'm saying nothing else about Solomon Great the rest of this video. I'm not touching any cards in the deck. I'm not touching any of like the support cards, anything like that. The closest thing is the artifact engine, because that is just something that some players play that gives them an advantage. Other than that, I'm not hitting anything else. Sorry guys, like that's the truth. The expectation versus the reality of Solomon Great is you expect cards to get hit. I don't think they're going to get hit. They're too new. So that's all I'm going to say about that. We're going to move on to the limited cards. So of course, we're back at Sky Strikers. Sky Strikers could go multiple ways. They're not going to hit Ray. Ray is the, you know, the main monster of the deck. I feel like if there was any card they would hit to 1, it's Kagari. I feel like they would hit Kagari because Kagari is everything. Kagari is recursion in your deck. Kagari is the monster you want to summon. It is the main card. It's the reason why Hida is so good in the mirror match, because you can take your opponent's Kagari back and it's like you have a 4th Kagari. Same thing with Shark Cannon. I feel like by hitting Kagari, that really does hinder the deck, because you only have 1 Kagari and you have to recycle it. You'll be forced to use Hornet Drones in order, or not Hornet Drones, the Hercules base to recycle it, and you're really going to have to learn to manage your resources, and Hida will become even more popular in the deck because of that. I feel by hitting Kagari, since the recursion will be gone, cards like Shizuku, cards like Hayate, cards like Kana, they'll all be more valuable, obviously, and you'll really have to know like how to use your Kagari. You're going to have to recycle it. You're going to have to use your opponent. Your Shark Cannon will be, like I said, will see more play. Hercules base will see more play. Hida will see more play, and the deck will continue to be able to play on. So as far as cards to 1, that's the only card I'm going to hit in Sky Strikers, because in the semi-limited, I have some more cards to hit, like kind of like we did the last ban list. So expectation of that, like people are saying, oh, they're going to hit Engage to 1, they're going to hit Widow Anchor to 1. No, they're not. They're most likely going to hit Kagari. By hitting Kagari, it doesn't make the deck unplayable. The deck is still playable with 1 Kagari. So expectation of Again, expectation of Engage and Widow Anchor or Multi-Roll. Alright, Multi-Roll is the only card. Actually, I take that back. There's one more card. I think Multi-Roll should go to 1. I think Multi-Roll should go to 1 because that card is insane. That card is like the absolute nuts. And that card is how you win the game. Like, literally, if that card goes, it doesn't get Ghost Triggered or stopped, you're going to win the game because you just get so much advantage off it. It's a Spellbook of Judgment. What did they do to Spellbook of Judgment? They put it to 0. So, those are the 2 cards I see. Expectations of Engage and Widow Anchor going to 1. Incorrect. I feel Kagari and Multi-Roll will go to 1. So that's for Sky Strikers. Next, we have Thunder Dragons. Again, so here's the thing. People are saying, alright, I'm looking at your guys' list, and I fully understand why you guys want this. But the problem with this is that I feel like hitting Colossus, again, not going to happen. I feel like there's 2 cards in the deck that can go to 1. And guess what? They're not Thunder Dragon cards. None of the Thunder Dragon cards are getting here, I guaranteed. If they hit Colossus, I'll be shocked. Most decks are playing 2. Think about that. Most decks are playing 2. Half the time in the combo, you make 1. Ask my opponents. Ask anyone that has seen me play the deck. Half the time, I'm only making 1. I have to open the Stone Cold Nuts to make 2 half the time. Or my hand has to just be ridiculous, or I have to have, like, a million things go my way. The 2 cards that I feel are going to get hit are going to be Saryuja Skull Dread and Phantom Skyblaster. Saryuja Skull Dread, it has to go to 1 because the card is just so abusable. Being able to use multiple is insane. It's not once per turn. It gets you when you resolve 2, you get to draw 8 cards. You get to special summon 2 monsters. You get to get the plus 300 on all your monsters. The card is the nuts. The card needs to go to 1. I don't want it banned because I feel it's still a really cool card. When the card wasn't seeing play in multiples, people were playing it at 1, and you know what? It was fine. If you Valor it or Ash it, that's it. That's your only Saryuja. What are you going to do? Recycle it with Unicorn and then do it again? I mean, I guess, but that's kind of a sucky, like a really stupid way to, reuse Saryuja, but I feel like that will be the route they go as far as hitting, like, the main monsters in the deck. I feel like hitting the Guard Dragons is pointless. Hitting the, Thunder Dragon cards is pointless. Levianeer is amazing card, but doesn't need to get banned, or it needs to go to 1 or anything like that. Phantom Skyblaster. So Phantom Skyblaster I feel is going to go to 1 because the card is ridiculous. Like, it's a token generating card, and I feel most token generating cards are going to get hit this list. Scapegoat is already at 1. I feel Skyblaster will go to 1 because the monster is a very strong normal summon. It produces the tokens you need, and it's just really, really strong. So I feel like that card will probably go to 1 because anything that produces tokens and makes your link climbing easier definitely needs to get hit. And the last card for Thunder Dragons, again, not a Thunder Dragon card that I could potentially see going to 1. Again, the expectation is everyone is thinking we're going to hit the Thunder Dragon cards, we're going to hit, all the other cards. It's not going to happen, you guys. Thunder Dragon cards themselves are not going to get hit. The last card that's going to go to 1 to put the deck in the deck in check, I feel is going to be White Dragon Wyva Buster. A lot of people have talked about this, and it's very true. Card is insane. If you open White Dragon Wyva Buster plus Solar, it's full combo. It's actually nuts. White Dragon Wyva Buster, I never thought I'd see the day where these little Chaos Dragons would get hit, but they are insane. Yes, they are a hard once per turn to summon. However, the fact that they do so many things, they banish your Thunder Dragons to start your combo, they search each other when they go to the graveyard to fill your hand to make your dangers and your discard stronger, they produce the Guard Dragons, they do everything the deck could possibly want. So I feel by putting White Dragon Wyva Buster to 1, that will really hinder the deck because yes, you can play multiple Collapse Serpents, but with only one White Dragon, I feel like it would really hinder the deck. So that's what I see happening as far as that goes. Other cards you guys have talked about. You guys are talking about, again, I said I don't think anything is going to get hit on, I don't think anything is going to get hit on the other Thunder Dragon cards. The one thing I will say, though, is I'm going to say it right now. How many dangers are going to get hit? 0. The expectation of Nessie, Jackalope, and Snake getting hit? No, I don't think it's going to happen. And my reason is, and you guys can argue with me all you want, the cards are not out in Japan yet. Until Japan has them, until Japan abuses them, they're not going to get hit. That's just my honest thoughts. You can call me wrong, you can call me stupid. I honestly think that is what's going to happen. I feel that the dangers will get hit once they come to Japan, but it's not going to happen for this list, and I feel that we are going to still have dangers at full power for the Nationals in Pittsburgh in a couple months. So, that's my honest thoughts. Lastly, I'm looking at, and if there's anything else I'd put to 1, not really. I think most of these cards are pretty self-explanatory. I think trying to hit any other cards is just not going to work. People are talking about would any cards possibly come back. People have talked about Harpy's Feather Duster. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not really big on bringing cards back to 1 that haven't been around. I guess Tribe Infecting Virus, but I mean, people even going to play it? It's a normal summon. Are you really going to play it? Like, honestly, stuff like that. And then we're going to go to the semi-limited. So the semi-limited, on Thunder Dragons, I got nothing. Solomon Great, again, nothing. We're just going to focus on the deck that's being played the most, Sky Strikers. Now, there are 2 cards that I could see potentially getting hit to 2. Now, do I think all of them will get hit to 2? Both will get hit to 2? Probably not. I honestly think they will hit Engage and or Widow Anchor to 2. One of those cards. I actually don't think they're going to hit both. I think they'll put, to be honest, I think they'll put Engage, I want to say they'll put Engage to 2. Widow Anchor might be the better card. The reason why I say that is because that is the card that just like ends lives. It ends games. That card is nuts. Engage is insane, but you know what you're trying to engage to? A way to Widow Anchor. Think about it. I actually think maybe Widow Anchor should be the card that goes to 2. This is, again, kind of like the previous one on the Artifact Engine. I feel it's kind of a hard thing to discuss, but I think that they will hit either Engage or Widow Anchor, one of those cards to 2, along with the Kagari to 1. It will add the multi-roll to 1. It will hurt the deck. It will slow the deck down, but the deck will still be playable. So I feel those will be the touches to Sky Striker, and you know, anything else I feel would just be inappropriate. I feel it wouldn't do anything to the deck. I think it would hurt the deck too much to where it's not playable. And again, we have a national season coming up, so I feel like all those decks are going to be in contention. They're going to be hit in some shape or form, and then it's going to be a matter of playing your deck to beat Solomon Great and to beat whatever other decks are out, and what tech choices you make to make up for the cards that were lost. And lastly, we'll go to the no longer limited. You know, usually I don't like semi-limited. I've talked about this. Simo shares the same, you know, idea on this, that semi-limited, putting stuff to 2. There's nothing else I'd really put to 2. I don't think there's any point. People have talked about Solemn Warning and other cards like that. I really don't know if that would happen. It could potentially happen because it happened in Japan, but that's neither here nor there. There's not a lot of traps being played this format unless you're playing Guru or Altergeist. Oh, and on Altergeist, they're hitting nothing. Deck's really fallen off. I hate to say it, I love Altergeist, but the deck has really fallen off. I think they're going to leave Altergeist alone. And lastly, cards that I feel that will be unlimited, that should be unlimited. Let's take a look at what you guys said. I always like reading your guys' ideas. I feel like, let's see. The only cards I could honestly believe going to 3 would be Shurit for Nekroz and Construct for Shaddoll's. The reason is they're not really doing anything. Nekroz is cool. It's been around for a while, and you know, now that it's getting all its cards back, I mean, it's still not that good. It's still not topping. It's coming close, and maybe if you put Shurit back to more than 1, it'll maybe top. And the only other card is Construct, because Construct, I mean, Shaddolls aren't doing anything. People are trying to play Shaddolls in other decks, but I don't think they're really going to do anything in the long run. But overall, I think there is going to be no expectations. I guess people would expect, the Chaos Emperor Dragon to come to 3. I don't even know if they're going to talk about that card. They might bring it to 3. I mean, the card kind of sucks. I mean, I played it in my deck, but that was only because I didn't have the prize card. I needed another Chaos Monster. But its effect rarely goes off, just being honest. So those are my overall thoughts. I agree with a lot of the stuff you guys presented here. Some people are saying Terraforming should go to 3. No. Field's cards are still really powerful. Other things, you know, it just kind of really depends. Like, this format, it's not that bad, you guys. There's a lot of decks that can be played. I think if we take away the degeneracy and we slow down the decks that are just overperforming, then we'll be in an even healthier format. Now, remember, we are going into Nationals. The season is coming up. We're, like, a couple months away, and decks need to be playable. And Solomon Great, I just don't think is going to get hit. I think it's too new. Again, it's going to get the Monarch treatment from, like, 2016, whatever year that was. I feel Sky Strikers are still going to be playable. People will find ways to replace the cards that get hit. Altergeist is not going to get hit. Guru Control is not going to get hit. I don't think any of the Floodgates are going to get touched because there's so many outs. I'm sorry, there's so many outs. You got Twin Twisters, you've got MSTs, you got Cyclones, you name it. We have endless ways to destroy cards, and I feel like they're not really going to do anything about that. I don't think Dangers are going to get hit because they're not in Japan yet. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong, but they're not in Japan yet. Once they go to Japan, you guarantee they're getting touched in some shape or form. So the expectation, again, versus the reality of this video is that there's a lot of cards people want to hit. There's a lot of cards players want to hit, but we have to actually, you know, just kind of bring it all full circle and say, okay, we want this to happen. We're not going to get everything we want. Konami is going to produce a list, and we're going to play by it, and that's the honest reality. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this becomes a continuing segment every Banlist season. This is a prediction in a sense, but more of a straightforward, this is what will happen, this is what's going to happen, because it's what makes sense, and it's what's fair, and it's a way to balance the game and keep the format healthy, keep the attendance high, and keep the players as happy as we possibly can. Now, we can't please everybody, but we do the best we can. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave your comments below. You want this to continue. you guys know what to do. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.